Hi, my name is Zoe Yang. I'm here to talk about my venture, Artemisia Incubator, which is a working name at the moment. Anyways, I wanted to give a little bit of personal context around how this idea came to be. And it started 2 years ago. When I first joined Columbia Business School, and almost on the first day of orientation, I was part of a really, really problematic sexual assault training presentation. Basically, it was an administrator standing in front of 300 newly minted, MBA current students, and she kept apologizing for taking up our time and making inappropriate jokes and using examples that really didn't apply to us. And everybody thought it was a huge joke. And people were leaving, people were on their phones, and many of the female students, myself included, came away from that feeling really discouraged and unsafe. Um, so I decided to have a meeting with the dean to give a little bit of my feedback on how to make it better for next year. And before I knew it, I was sort of sucked up into starting a whole group called Allies for Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention. Um, and I wrote about that in my application, but basically it was a rewarding and heartbreaking and eye-opening experience. As a founder and president of that club, I was privy to a lot of stories that women would share with me, women who are, some of the most accomplished and privileged and confident women in the world. It's their stories of being harassed at work, of being harassed by classmates, by, um, being assaulted even by classmates. Um, and I found it, absolutely heartbreaking, especially given all the progress that it seemed like we had made around this issue, and yet we seemed to be back at square one. Um, and this was only highlighted to me even more as Columbia continued to, sort of fumble the ball with these sort of bureaucratic approaches to education that really didn't meet anybody's measure of an effective way to spend time. But the silver lining is I've built some relationships with incredible people through engagement of this work. It's on my mind every day. I talk about it almost every day. And I've been privy to some flashes of brilliance too, just by, keeping up with what's happening in the space. I know there are a lot of amazing content creators out there doing entirely new things. Sometimes, and most of the time, they're unfunded. They're doing it just out of the goodness of their own hearts, or they're self-funded. Um, and I think there's a space here for someone to come in and provide funding for people who are focused on doing this type of work, for providing guidance, um, and for creating a network. I think it's exhausting work, and people should be able to, bounce ideas off of each other and pick each other up when they need to be picked up. Um, and ultimately, my dream is to compensate these creators and give them a bigger platform for what they're doing and to help them scale. And I want, I want to take advantage of the business case that's been made in the past couple of years. The AAU survey and the barrage of Title IX complaints that all these universities have received have really underscored that there is a business case here. These universities are at risk of losing federal funding if they don't get their acts together, and so far they're floundering. They're just hiring more lawyers. They don't know how to fix the problem, and I think if we can create some quality content, we would be in a place to, market it through institutional and educational channels and really, make some impact. So I'm excited. Thank you for your consideration.